Whether it's a bad script, terrible direction, or awful acting, the 10 movies that you're about to witness are the definition of terrible cinema. These are the worst examples of film in 2015. They are Film Snob Review's top 10 worst films of 2015. Now, you're going to notice on this list that there's, well, a diverse amount of films, from those that had failed to meet expectations to others that just didn't know what they wanted to do. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let me just start by saying that Hitman Agent 47, which is the second attempt to make a Hitman movie based off of the popular video game, is a terrible film. It does the one thing that action movies should never do, and it is completely and utterly boring. Most of the spots in it are a rehash from stuff that's much better that you've seen before. Rupert Friend doesn't seem interested in the film, and neither does anyone else for that matter. I cut the best possible thing you could see from all of the footage, and even that isn't that great. You should stay very, very far away from this film, or any film based on a video game for that matter. Hopefully that will change this year with the upcoming Warcraft and Assassin's Creed films. Man, Jennifer Lopez cannot act. She needs to quit it. Just please stop. In this one, she plays a high school English teacher, and yes, that is actually the case, who falls for this younger guy who's supposed to be a teenager but looks like he's about 47 and could probably be, someone's dad. It's awful, it's terrible, it's schlocky, it's like somebody got a really good idea to make Fatal Attraction with weird pseudo actors who can't actually act. Just skip it. It's awful. Just skip it. Oh boy, where do I begin with this one? It's based off of Twilight fanfiction, so you shouldn't go into it thinking the dialogue's gonna be an Alan Sorkin script. But oh my god, it's so cheesy, it's just so lame, none of that stuff even matters. The movie I just cut right now with no words is probably better than the thing you're gonna have to witness if you go see this, if you watch it on Blu-ray, whatever. It isn't well directed, and I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that the writer was so possessive over her materials, if you want to call it that, that she just decided that, the director didn't have to do anything except sit there and put their name on this piece of crap. There's a sequel. Oh, there's going to be 2 more of these. Oh, man. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Paranormal Activity used to be a series that you could at least rely on to get 1 or 2 jump scares out of it. The first one was good, the second one was okay, the third and marked ones were not very good. This one, however, has nothing to offer. There are no scares, the script doesn't make any sense, nothing really stands out about it. Just stay away from it if you can. It's just disappointing, and another horror movie that fails to deliver anything except an hour and a half of pure boredom. So, Barely Lethal is barely a movie, it barely has a narrative, and it barely qualifies as anything you'd want to ever be anywhere near. Kyle Newman, who directed the really interesting Fanboys film, which this is not at all interesting, really just went by the numbers and followed every cliche he could come up with for a teenage comedy. Haley Stanfield's in this, and I can't believe she's ever been nominated for an Oscar, judging by her performance here. Likewise, we have just a bunch of, phoned-in performances, including the man who will do anything for money, Samuel L. Jackson. Try to avoid this one at all costs, and, see a much better spy film. There were about 3 others, including Spy and, Kingsman. So the Academy Awards give away a Best Editing Oscar. I'm wondering, do the Razzies give one for worst? Because if they do, Serena will probably take that hands down. Not only is it like the worst movie you're going to see as far as editing goes, but there's so many just random weird jump cuts that you just lose the narrative altogether. Serena had potential. I'd say has too, because somebody might like it, especially if you're a Bradley Cooper fan or a Jennifer Lawrence fan. Sadly, I just can't recommend it to anyone. Netflix does have it for you, and I know a lot of you are going to be saying, well, it's a 2014 movie, not a 2015 movie. The thing is, here in the United States, it came out in 2015, so it counts. It's on my list. Deal with it. Let's go to the next one. Quick question, my film snobs out there. How do you make a movie, a film adaptation of a cartoon from the 1980s? Well, I would suggest that to answer this question, you not ask John M. Chu, because he didn't use anything from that cartoon from the 80s in this Gem and the Holograms adaptation. This plays more like a teen comedy, whatever, I don't care. The guy I feel bad for more than anything here is Ryan Guzman, who plays like the record executive's son, and we just saw him, a few movies back in this countdown in The Boy Next Door, looking like he's 46 years old. The music is awful. It's such popcorn ridiculousness. The script is terrible, and John M. Chu, I don't even think he knows how to direct anything that's not a music video, because that's exactly what this looks like. A barrage of music videos hitting you over the face until you continually suffocate and die from awful. Ugh. So this thing is supposed to be a comedy, but like literally every joke in this movie falls flatter on its face than Reese Witherspoon in almost every scene. The characters are caricatures at best. The jokes, as I mentioned, are not funny. None of the dialogue is good. Sofia Vergara does nothing but get on your nerves. Overall, it is essentially the cinematic equivalent of a dentist drill being placed onto a raw nerve in the center of your mouth. That, in itself, would probably be more enjoyable than the time I spent watching this movie. It is unequivocally the worst comedy of the year, and definitely has a spot on this list. So The Gallows was supposed to be a horror movie about a kid who died doing a performance of play, and basically he cursed the auditorium. Instead, it's just like an hour and a half of lame, uninteresting characters, really just cliched Blumhouse trash. And I don't have a problem with Blumhouse or their business practices, because they make lots of money. I have a problem with jump scares and awful horror movies that don't have any real point to them. And that is where The Gallows falls in line. It is a pointless piece of dribble. I really, really think that this could have been good, maybe if you had written a better script for it, or maybe had a script and not cast a bunch of people just trying to do their best imitation of being actors. It's just so boring. It's so boring, and it's I hate horror movies already, and when you put one out like this and then you have a great one like It Follows out at the exact same year, it's almost disheartening to see the great difference. Alright, so before we tell you what topped the list, here are some honorable mentions. I don't know why I'm mentioning them, they're pretty terrible. But here, you know what? Enjoy, make fun of them, whatever. This is the stuff you guys like to talk about, anyways. So, have fun. Would you like to know the true mark of an awful movie? It's so bad that the director takes his name off of it, and that's exactly what's happened with our worst movie of the year, Accidental Love, aka Nailed, aka This Is an Awful Movie. Originally directed by David O. Russell, yes, that David O. Russell from American Hustle and Joy and Silver Linings Playbook. He took his name off of it, and it's now directed by Stephen Green. Yes, there were air quotes behind that. This movie is not funny, it wastes a great cast, and there is literally no excuse for this adaptation of Kristen Gore's Sammy's Hill novel to have failed so badly. How on earth do you make a guy as talented as Jake Gyllenhaal bad? Just avoid this one at all costs because it is, without a doubt, the worst film of 2015. Don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself. Oh man. Ooh. I really hope you enjoyed our top 10 worst of the year. If you want to see the best movies, keep it here because that's what's coming up next. The 10 best movies of 2015. Got any suggestions? Maybe something I missed? What is your worst movie of the year? Let me know in the comment section below. Keep it here by hitting subscribe, sharing this, and maybe giving us a thumbs up if you thought it was awesome. Don't be afraid to also check out our website, filmsnopreviews.com. We have reviews going up there almost every day. Check out our merch booth. We got a couple of t-shirts up there now, but don't be afraid because we're going to have even more for you in 2016. I'm William for Film Snob Reviews, and until next time, later.